Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Better Late Than Never, a series where I play old games that I never got around to playing, and talk about what we can learn from them today. Look, okay, last episode we talked about Zelda 2, and I argued that old Nintendo games have a way of feeling timeless. Well, at about the same time that I posted that video, the SNES Classic hit stores and gamers started buzzing about how bad Star Fox had held up over the years. Now, fortunately, I had that very game on my list for this series, so I jumped into it and... oh boy, I'm a little bit jet-lagged, but I think we need to revise last episode's thesis pretty badly. So, let's get into my three biggest takeaways from Star Fox. Number 1. Tech gimmicks age worse than anything. Okay, let's get right into it. Star Fox is bad. Like terrible bad. But I want to figure out why it's so bad and how it could have been so highly regarded at the time to spawn a major franchise. And I think both of those questions actually have the same answer. Technological gimmickry. You see, the entire Star Fox franchise has been built as a sort of way to showcase Nintendo's technological advancements. Think about it. Star Fox 64 was the debut of the Rumble Pack. Star Fox Zero was meant to finally show us how good the Wii U's gamepad was, and it didn't. And the original Star Fox was created to show off the power of Nintendo's Super FX chip, a piece of tech that would bring their games into 3D. Thus, the quality of Star Fox doesn't rest on its timeless gameplay mechanics, but rather on how well that outdated chip holds up. And needless to say, it doesn't. The game is a mosh pit of vague shapes presented in this almost slideshow-like frame rate. Sure, that's not solely what holds it back. Aiming and moving in 3D without dual sticks really makes for a tough experience, but it's that tech barrier that really dooms it. Look, the thing about technology is that it's always improving, and it's fine if you want to stake your game's livelihood on that, but inevitably, it's gonna make it age way faster than it should. More than any game I've played for this series, Star Fox's legacy is entirely lost to time because there's just no way for a player in 2017 to get a sense of how cool this game must have felt in 1993. And while we're on the topic of graphics, let me also say that Star Fox looks so bad, it's almost surreal. I've commented a lot through the series about how older 3D games really start to look rougher and rougher as time goes on, but Star Fox hits a new low, as its art style and graphics are so indecipherable that it almost becomes a surrealist experience. Frankly, that's kind of the most interesting thing about the game. The actions on screen are so chaotic and choppy that I felt like I was witnessing gaming's first example of glitch art. I think that's the case with a lot of very early 3D games, which reduce their art down to an abstract state in order to pull off the sheer spectacle of 3D. And I guess this is kind of a continuation of my first point, really. Developers just tend to make sacrifices to achieve that certain wow factor, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the question becomes, what is it okay to sacrifice? But here's where it gets complicated. I'd usually say graphics. Focus on making a mechanically tight game and it won't matter how it looks. But Star Fox is an anomaly because it looks insane. And again, maybe it looked great at the time, but today, it's as visually mystifying to me as Soda Drinker Pro. Okay, look, let's lay off the visuals for this last point and say that, number 3, space shooters have gone the way of the Western. Now, gaming is such a young art form that sometimes it's easy to forget that it's following in the footsteps of the mediums that came before it. Now, I always think about movies when I think about this, and how Westerns used to be the kings of Hollywood, and now they practically don't exist. And when I play old space shooters like Star Fox, I can't help but see that parallel in real time. There once was a time where games like Space Invaders dominated arcades like John Wayne dominated the box office. But games like Star Fox are rare these days. We talk a lot in this series about outdated elements in games, but we haven't talked about entirely outdated genres. As the language of games gets more and more complex, it feels like certain genres just aren't able to evolve with it. Star Fox 1 doesn't really say or really do anything different than Star Fox Zero. They both just embellish the same ideas, just like Westerns minorly iterated on the idea of good guys versus bad guys until it got stale. And as easy as it is, and really was, to sit here and trash Star Fox all day solely because of its tech, I don't think that's ultimately why it doesn't work today. Everything about it feels like a relic from simpler times. There's a lot to admire about it historically speaking, and that makes the SNES Classic a great museum by which to view it. But it's never going to be a good gaming experience again. And like I said, it's Sad to see it get sucked into time like that. Well, damn, what a bummer. But hey, you know what they say, be the change you want to see in the world or something, right? So what game do you want to see me tackle next? See my list in the description, and let me know in the comments. And until next time, good luck.